Back at the Kentucky Speedway, Greg Biffle continues to show the way out front. He has now led 27 laps the second time in this event. He has been in the lead position. Right now, 1.7 seconds ahead of Todd Bodine. And looking very strong right now. There's Bodine back in the number 2 spot. Chad, he gave up the chance to go to Michigan to run his discovered car Ford for Travis Carter. His older brother Jeffrey took care of that. And with a note there on the Todd Bodine machine, let's go back to Glenn Sharon.
Well, guys, Todd had one of the fastest cars last night. If you folks were watching, me and Tony Liberati, his crew chief, were talking about just how good the car had gotten. But it was very loose starting off. Today, he has the opposite problem. The car's a little tight through the center of the corner, but he runs about the same lap times every lap as the leader, Greg Biffle. It's just that on the takeoffs, on the restarts, Biffle is a little quicker for the first 4 or 5 laps than the times even out. So Todd's got a very, very good car. They're going to make an adjustment when they come in for their final pit stop. Try to free it up through the center just a little.
Todd Bodine now has disposed of some lap traffic. Clear track ahead to try to chase down the leader, Greg Biffle, who is just locked on to that white line at the bottom of the racetrack. Car handling very well with 65 laps to go. Back there in the 3rd spot, Ashton Lewis Jr., the Civil Air Patrol Chevrolet. He's had a strong run so far last night and today. With an update there, let's go to Brett McMillan.
Something of a lucky break for Ashton Lewis last night. He got kind of caught up in that melee right before the red flag near the start-finish line. That forced him to come in and stop, which means they didn't stop at the start of the race today. They're talking about just an air pressure adjustment on their last stop, and they'll be set to go the rest of the way. Good solid run for him. Finished 5th at this track a year ago.
And he's using the same car, Chad Little. I guess when you find a good pony, you just stay riding it for a while.
You know, we really have to brag on Ashton Lewis a little bit. Him and his father run this program, and for the most part, they haven't had a lot of sponsorship support in this team, and they continue to surprise and impress everyone.
Ashton Lewis again in that 3rd spot. That's the good news. The bad news, 4.3 seconds behind leader Greg Biffle. That gap growing a little bit every single lap. Although, you look at Lewis, he is about a second ahead of the 4th place machine of Jason Keller. Here's Greg Biffle back out front. You see Todd Bodine starting to try to creep into the picture, about a half a straightaway of the lead right now, 1st to 2nd.
Well, you know, we talked about Todd giving up a chance to race in Michigan in the Winston Cup race. That, folks, that is a big, big decision on Todd's part, not to go up to Michigan and race in a Winston Cup event and instead come back here. But what Todd made the deal with the 92 Excedrin team was, I'll race for you all year. If there's a conflict like a rainout we had last night, I'll be there for you, and he's doing his job today.
And what was neat about that, he really wanted to see his brother Jeffrey get a chance to get back in a Winston Cup car, and Jeffrey had practiced and qualified that machine at Michigan for Travis Carter. So the idea that he'd get back in the car was something that Todd really didn't have a bad feeling about as well. It's sort of a plus for him last night.
Yeah, you know, if his brother wasn't up there, I'm sure he would have given me a call.
Well, you were available. And so you got the call at midnight to come on in here to Kentucky. Todd Bodine, there you see the Excedrin Chevrolet. A little bit of a headache right now. That car pushing a little bit up the racetrack.
This track here in Kentucky is banked about 14 degrees. That's almost half of where the track like Charlotte is banked, which is almost a sister track to this place. You don't carry as much speed in the corners. You don't have the banking to help you turn the car. So what these guys end up doing, they run as soft as they can in the front. They get a lot of spring split in the rear to help the car turn. The characteristics then are your car wants to be a little bit loose getting in, and it wants to be tight in the center. It's a handful to get your car to handle here.
Looks like Greg Biffle has got a handle on things right now. He continues to lead. 2.2 seconds over Todd Bodine, with Ashton Lewis continuing to ride 3rd, followed by Keller and Hendrick. Problems for the Albertson Ford of Jason Keller. He stood to retake the point lead from Jack Sprague after today's race. Now problems for him as he slides into his pit area. Keller's had problems finishing races lately. 2 DNFs in the last 5 events. Not a good sign as they pop the hood on that PPC machine. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mark, they have raised the hood. Of course, when Jason came in, the engine was not running, so that's always a bad sign. He has not tried to refire it. It looks to be something terminal inside the engine. They're going to make all the checks and look at everything they possibly can, but there's not a whole lot of work, not a lot of activity going on around the car right now. So this looks like it could be a day-ending event for Jason Keller.
So after DNFs at Loudon and Dover, Jason Keller may be about to add one here at Kentucky. Todd Bodine is now in. Johnny Sauter following him down pit road as well. Here's Bodine at 45 miles per hour. He'll slide into his pit area. Again, that's right in front of Glenn Jarrett.
When we were at break, the 37 car LePage also pitted, and I think what we're seeing now, folks, is these are routine pit stops. These guys are in their pit window, as we call it, which means they take on fuel now. They can finish the race. They can go the distance. So we see in the top 3 guys. Now, if this race does go green, those people who have pitted, they're going to be the ones to fight to win.
Randy LaJoie there battling with Tim Sauter. He just took a spot away from Sauter. And that moves LaJoie up to the 5th position. So Randy LaJoie starting to rumble just a little bit here this afternoon. 2-time Busch Series champion. He's had a little bit of tough luck lately. Still feels as though he's in the hunt for Title 3.
Unless Randy's winning every weekend, he feels like he's having tough luck.
That's right. He's an easy guy to measure the emotions, right? You can instantly tell whether he's happy, sad, glad, or mad.
It's very black and white with Randy.
Absolutely.
That's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. Here is LaJoie, the Kleenex Chevy, starting to power away from Tim Sauter. Sauter, of course, looking for some sponsorship. You know, a team that's looking for sponsorship surely could use a solid run. He had a good one in Nashville the first time around earlier this year. Another solid run here today at the Kentucky Speedway.
You know, I believe they're sitting about 10th in points. They've really had a solid year.
LaJoie, red, white, and blue on Father's Day. That number 7. Having a much better season this year than a year ago. Jason Keller, now you see him putting on his cap, and that surely means that he has a terminal problem. Here's Greg Biffle now. The Granger Ford on pit road. He will turn over the lead to Ashton Lewis Jr. as Biffle slides into his pit. He's in front of Brett McMillan.
And this is a scheduled stop for Biffle, actually a little bit earlier than they expected, but they'll be in good shape to go the rest of the way. They have made an air pressure adjustment to this car. We talked about the fact he stayed out last night, gambling that maybe the rain would not last long enough for them to end up winning the race. 4-tire change for him, down and away, 16.5 seconds.
So Biffle is down and away. Again, that turns over the lead to Ashton Lewis Jr. And he will now pit. The Civil Air Patrol Chevy is on pit road. That turns the number 1 spot over to Ricky Hendrick.
Whose pick was Hendrick to win this race? Can't remember.
But that's after it restarted, man, by 20 laps before you made that pick. Golly, what a crystal ball that is. There they go to work on the right side of the Ashton Lewis Jr. machine. And that's a Civil Air Patrol Chevy. Been flying this afternoon, no pun intended, by the way. Here's Ricky Hendrick now coming onto pit road. Whoa, he tries to get down to 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, you're peeling off the racetrack there at 160 miles an hour, and you have to be 45 miles an hour by the start of pit road. So the driver's got his hand full, and the penalty for speeding is severe. You have to come back around, and you'll lose a lap.
In the 5 pits, Brett McMillan.
And Ricky Hendrick has come to a stop. They came in during the rain last night, and then they came in again at the restart today, got left side tires only, so this is going to be a 4-tire change for them. Ricky Hendrick been driving very well since returning. Some problems on the left rear of that car, not getting his change as quickly as they'd like, and this is going to be a very long stop, finally away, 22.4 seconds.
You know, and that's murder on a green flag pit stop. Anything over time that the leaders or the people you're trying to beat do.
And that returns the lead to Scott Riggs. 4th time he has led. Jason Keller has dropped out. He's with our Glenn Jarrett.
And Jason Keller is normally one of the friendliest guys in the entire garage area. He'll talk to you anytime that he can. But I know you don't want to be talking to me right now, Jason. Engine problems?
Yeah, something broke in the motor. I'm sure it probably had to do with maybe the rain last night. Got down in the motor or something, but Albertson Ford was running up front. We're just trying to wait and get to the fuel window, and you know, it's unfortunate, but still a lot of racing left this year.
Well, that's exactly right. You don't have too many of these type problems.
Oh no, I mean this is a freak thing. Our motor program's awesome, and you know, but you know, just sometimes things happen. We'll just have to get on next week.
Okay, better luck to Jason next time.
Scott Riggs out front for the 5th time. The Kroger 300 on FX presented by Oreo. Randy LaJoie's currently 2nd.